Welcome to the March 2020 monthly horoscope. This is Ms. Jenny bringing you the cosmic weather report for the month ahead. We're doing things a little bit differently this month, so I'm hoping you'll enjoy the new formatting that we're doing, and let's get started. All right. This video will include, get your pencils and calendars out so you can write notes, a romance report. Yes, darling, love is still possible in the middle of a hurricane. Just watch any movie. Days/weeks to watch out for. And remember, don't look behind you. It might be gaining on you. Also, favorite activities this month. Self-medicating and avoiding reality are always an option, but honestly, it's more work with less results, so why bother, right? And as always, cheap humor, free of charge. Although I gotta tell you, the optimism may cost extra. This month in particular will definitely remind us that when times are bad, the most important things we can have are our sense of humor and someone who loves us. Lover, friend, family, or family pet, we all need someone who forgives us for being stupid sometimes and loves us anyway. Alrighty, so if you're looking for a serious relationship that you can build a future, a lifetime, or a lifeboat with, this is definitely the month that favors folks committed to the real deals in life. However, this will not come without its disappointments or miscalculations. Not everything that glitters is gold, and if you're looking for a deep, spiritual, emotional match, not just a three-legged potato sack race partner, you will have to look past the surface in both them and you to see what's really available in any potential partnership. If you find someone, this still isn't going to go as smoothly as the end of the month starts a stress testing on new connections. If you don't find someone, do not despair. Your lifetime blueprint for love hasn't arrived yet, and the relationship you're meant to have is just going to have a different star pattern to describe it. So, this month, good news, bad news. Good news, Venus moves into Taurus and Mars moves into Capricorn. This also emphasizes comfort, security, and sensuality. So things that feel good to us and make us feel safe and make us feel warm and with full bellies and big bear hugs. These are the things that are most emphasized this month. The other good news is that people who know what they want and won't settle for cheap imitations will find their kindred spirits this month. So it's going to be a much easier time to find people who are on your groove and get what you're saying. The other piece of good news this month is that serious relationship sightings, not the quickie detours, will get VIP treatment this month from the cosmos. Now, the bad news. The bad news is that we've got Mars conjuncting Pluto and Saturn moving into Aquarius. So, darlings, some of those successful serious relationships may be preferred by someone with an artificial intelligence engineered love doll. So love dolls are going to get a huge boost this month. We will still have Chiron and Aries hanging around like a bad toothache. Just got to deal with it. We've got some stuff we need to excavate like a root canal and get it out and get through it. So a lot of this has to do with identity and feeling important or the need to be special, competitiveness, and also force and the use of force, whether we're using too much of it, right? And most in particular, and most importantly, Chiron and Aries this month in both our personal relationships and in our social ones outside of our house, as it were, has a lot to do with courage. Finding the courage to love, finding the courage to stand up for the underdog, finding the courage to stand up for ourselves. Bravery takes on many forms, and the greatest acts of bravery aren't limited to a battlefield. And finally, an interesting twist of the month is that we have Eros, the asteroid Eros, and the asteroid Pallas, causing some role reversal confusion in some courtships. So men may be acting more feminine, more sensitive, more vulnerable, as well as playing a little harder to get, because they're wanting to be validated that they actually mean something to you. They don't want to be used like big love dolls. And Pallas will have the female identified people in the population here, literally feeling their oats. So the women are really going to be feeling their power and really assertively going after what they want, which is good, but it's definitely a role reversal from centuries and centuries and centuries of training and conditioning we've all been dealing with. So it will be interesting to see how this goes. You may see this in your relationships, where if you are female identified, you are feeling much more assertive and go get 'em kind of thing about what you want and what you need and who you're after. And men, or male identified people, maybe being a little bit more coy, a little more hard to get, a little more come chase me, with come hither stuff. So should be interesting to watch. And in case you guys are wondering, this is what a three-legged potato sack race looks like. And just a gentle reminder, love isn't always about sex or romance. For everyone, at its fundamental core, love is about friendship and laughing. Lots of laughing. Okay, so there you are. You have found the object of your desire, the light in your love lamp, the star by which you are navigating the ocean of loneliness to get to. You found them, but now how do you get them? So, my dear friends, I'm going to share with you some secrets of seduction by the stars as they are mapped out this month. Here we go. Males, for whatever reason, for whatever their reasons, will play or be harder to get. Mostly because they're going to want more assurance that they're actually valued by you. They don't want to be treated like toys. So with that said, if you are interested in a male identified person, pull back slowly, draw in gently, try not to go pursuing them like a rodeo cowboy chasing down a bull, and be very gentle to draw them out of their shell this month. So tread lightly. Remember, this is not a rodeo. This is a courtship. Also this month, women are going to be feeling fierce and fabulous. So if you are interested in a female identified person, here's what you need to know. 1, continue to be chivalrous. Yes, I know. Feminists are so awful. All these awful feminists. Don't you open that door for me. So here's the thing. Not everybody's like that. And even what's the word I'm looking for? The snappy ones, right? And they're not snappy because they're mean. They're just snappy because they're feisty. The feisty ones may give you a bit of a hard time about this, but do it anyway. So be chivalrous, applaud her passions, but most important, do not become her doormat. Remember, strong people want strong partners. So even if she's giving you a little bit of pushback over rules of civility and courtship and all that sort of stuff, the old-fashioned courting things and old-fashioned manners and stuff like that, it's okay. Continue doing it because that's who you are and how you identify. And ultimately, this month, women are really having much more serious interest in partners that are not going to lay down and be doormats for them. So do your thing, honey. Do your thing. Okay. Now, also this month, interestingly enough, this month, it's all about the sensible life plan. So show off your practical side. Show off your best boring side. Because trust me, honey, it's going to be your best side this month. So while success is sexy, having goals and a solid list of priorities and a real potential for life partnership, that is actually sexier now. Also, trust your intuition and follow your inner promptings. So if you feel like you just need to duck into that bookstore or stop by that one store on the way home, do it. Do it. You may be guided by your guardian angels, ancestors, and spirit guides to cross paths with a person they want you to cross paths with. So don't discount those little inner urges and promptings. Also, remember, all that glitters is not gold, so don't judge things by their appearances. All right? The person you're looking for may be right in front of your face while you're distracted by the person who's got all the superficial appeal. This month, more than ever, and specifically, nothing is as clear-cut as it seems when it comes to appearances right now. This is both out in the world and in our personal relationships. So with that said, trust in your divine promptings and don't judge anything by its appearance and assume that it's the absolute end of the matter. And finally, a little sidebar for you guys, because this is important. So practice responsible sex and use common sense as well as effective birth control. So whatever your method of birth control is, whether it's abstinence or it's actual physical birth control methods, use them. Use them as well as using your common sense, because this month it's a weird wibbly wobbly month, and there's a whole lot of not pandemics, but there's a whole lot of generous sharing of things we don't want people sharing with us going around. The coronavirus is an example, because last month in February, it was a Neptune month all month long. I know. Mercury went retrograde, yada, yada, yada. But underneath that in the secondary charts, it was such a Neptune month all month long. So what we were seeing a lot of in February was just weirdness, right? And just like, whoa, is this some kind of alternate reality? Well, Neptune also rules mass or pandemic infections. Because Neptune has a lot to do with the immune system, right? So, and then, ta-da, we had the coronavirus. And still dealing with it. This also means that sexually transmitted diseases, if they are spreading, will spread like wildfire this month. So, use protection, real protection, not rhythm method, not, holding an aspirin between your knees, like actual honest God protection, or go without. And I want you guys to think about this, just in case you got somebody who's literally going to burn you because they're walking around with something they're generously wanting to share with you and not warn you about. Having less partners does not mean that that person is safer. All it takes is one person, one time, for you to get infected with something. So if a person has only been with 2 people in their entire life, the problem is you don't know who those 2 partners they had were with at the same time they were in a relationship with that person. People do cheat. So the question is not how many partners you've had, but how much and how many incidences of unprotected sex you've had. That's the real issue here. So be aware, plan, and take care of that. And also too, the other thing, just so you know, in case you were wondering, accidental pregnancies as well as accidentally on purpose pregnancies are going to be epic this month. So if you're not interested in bringing children into the world now, you really don't want to play around with your birth control. And for those of you who are not having any kind of intimate relationship, well, just disregard this last part of the the report and move on to the next slide. Put your sneakers on. This is going to be a fast month. All right, folks, and this is what we have on top for you for the month of March. Now, this report will start March 9th, not March 2nd. We are starting with a full moon because this particular full moon begins the month and all of the major overarching themes through the month. Now, also important to know, this particular full moon is, it's a heck of a full moon. So, I'm trying to turn my heater off. Okay. So, first thing, the full moon will be occurring at 19 Virgo. This full moon will be making beautiful trines to these Capricorn planets. So, it will be, believe it or not, actually good and relatively easy for us to get through. Now, the caveat here is that this does not apply to people who've been up to no good, because what this particular full moon is going to do is pull back the curtains and turn the spotlight on. So any the shady stuff going on, misdirection, misinformation, playing games with the truth, all of those things, it will be revealed under this full moon, and specifically revealed by the details. The devil's in the details, and so is the truth. So it will be the literally like a criminal investigation for those of you who are criminal science investigator fans, right? CSI. Just like that. It's the little teeny tiny detail that could have easily been overlooked that unlocks the entire box of secrets. So this full moon is definitely one to watch. I'm kind of looking forward to it. All right, now get your pens or pencils, and I want you to mark these dates down. The first 3 days before March 9th, March 6th, well, 6th or 7th to 8th, and the 8th and the 9th. Write these words, pay attention, and underline it a couple times. Those 3 days before the full moon are going to be very, very critical, especially the 8th. On the 8th, for whatever reason, well, I mean, aside from astrology, everyone globally, we're all going to be a little out of it. And, this is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's a great time for artists and visionaries and people who are involved in sales and healing and all the Neptunian stuff. This is a fantastic day for them because they're really going to be in touch with the other side and communicating through the ethers. However, for the rest of us living here on terra firma, in reality, this is going to be a bit challenging. Even more challenging if you work in situations where paying attention is critical to safety. So, for example, gases, explosive gases, high power, high speed machinery, electricity, fire, things that could potentially hurt you if you're not paying attention, really need to be double and triple guarded against inattentiveness or distraction right before this full moon, because that full moon will definitely set it off. And it will just be the tiniest thing. So 3 days before the full moon, pay attention. Underline. Now, this full moon in Virgo, at 19 Virgo, the ruler of this full moon is Mercury. Mercury will also at the same time be making a direct station, or station direct, it's turning directions at 28 Aquarius on the day of the full moon. While that's happening, Venus is also conjuncting Uranus. So we have, oh my God, this, I can't begin to tell you like what kind of a full moon this kicks off the month with. So some things I want to say about this Mercury station. The Mercury station direct at 28 Aquarius is going to be particularly important and further emphasized because of the full moon. Also because it will be opposing or activating the fixed star Regalis at 29 Leo, which I believe is at 0 Virgo right now. But we're still counting it. So Mercury will only be in those last 2 degrees of Aquarius, 28 and 29, before it goes back into Pisces and starts, moving into the next sign like it should be. Whenever a planet's hanging out in a sign like that for, various reasons, an extended period of time, or in this case, it's hanging out at those specific degrees for about a week before it changes signs, it is emphasizing something and really making us look at something or be aware of something. So this Mercury opposing the fixed star Regalis for an entire week before it moves into Pisces is drawing our attention to things that are associated with Regalis. And the fixed star Regalis has everything to do with royalty, leadership, what they call Cœur Lion, or the royal heart, right? Magnanimousness, generosity of the soul, rising above the petty. All of these things are huge emphasized keywords with that fixed star. One of the things that's interesting to note about Regalis, because Regalis is a Cœur Lion, the heart of the lion. And what it means is that we are bigger than petty concerns. We are bigger and greater and stronger and more powerful than small petty people. That is the call of that particular fixed star, is to rise to that level of existence. Magnanimousness is very much a Regalis attribute that we should be aspiring to, or certainly will have more emphasized in our natures and our lives. One of the little things, though, there's always a catch in the thing. So a regalist promises a lot of amazing stuff depending on how it's aspected in a chart. May or may not necessarily manifest, but one thing is promised that is always guaranteed no matter what your station in life is. A regalist promises success only if revenge is avoided. So we may see matters of revenge and vindictiveness coming up at this time and backfiring. Interesting, no? So I'm not completely sure what that's about, but we're going to find out. Also, again, royal families, royalty. We may be hearing about the Prince Harry. They may be in the news again, or the British royal family. Now, also, mind you, this could also be the royal family from other places that are coming into the news. Also, with the regalists and the monarch, the royalty, the king, this could also put into the spotlight or have some, really shocking expose of people who see themselves as kings or, God-given leaders of their tribes. Because, kings back in the day were believed to have been appointed by God. That's why you're born into the royal family and born to be king, because God ordained this. Yeah, of course, they also didn't believe that bathing was good either. So, and they didn't believe in germs. There was just, we believe a lot, we are believing better, more sound things as time goes on. So don't take everything from history as literally the way to think things. In any event, we should see a lot of activity around this full moon and a whole lot of shocking revelations occurring, and also a lot of emphasis a lot of emphasis on the details, the little teeny tiny things that trip people up and get them caught when they're criminals, and the little teeny tiny things, you push the little red button, and the next it's like a whole new ball game, right? So it's the little teeny tiny pivot points that make the difference, and we're going to be seeing that really illuminated and that whole experience brought to life around this full moon. So 3 days before the full moon, give yourself about a week, right up until the 16th, actually. After that, to kind of get through this, right? So play fair, play nice, and play principled, especially during this time. Now, March 16th, we've got a quarter moon at 26 Sagittarius. Now, this particular quarter moon is also, the whole rest of the month is just busy with a whole lot of stuff going on. But this particular quarter moon is emphasized because this is the day that Mercury will finally leave Aquarius and enter Pisces. Sagittarius and Pisces are both Jupiter ruled. Jupiter is in Capricorn. Mars is approaching that Jupiter. Jupiter is still close to that Pluto. And Saturn, although Saturn's moved away a little bit. So this is a particularly important time, and people may be feeling more optimistic or more ambitious, for good or bad. And certainly having and desiring a more broad expanse of vision, and not in the big gas bag kind of inflated way, but like have a plan, have a concrete idea of what you want to do. How are we going to get there? This is what we're looking at. You're going to feel it, like literally it's going to feel like we're all kind of turning a corner together in terms of our thinking and our attitude, and most likely as a result of all this shenanigans going on from the full moon and that entire week following it. But we are definitely turning a corner around that quarter moon. And because the hits just keep on coming, we're not out of the woods yet. Oh, yay. Immediately after the quarter moon, right up to the next new moon on the 24th, we've got some hot spots going on. Between the 16th and the 24th, again, circle these on your calendar. I want you to circle March 20th, March 22nd, and March 23rd. And specifically, I want you to double circle or put a little star next to the circle for March 22nd. So on March 20th, it should be, it's just going to be a good day, and there's something special going on that day. So I'm going to leave it to you to figure out how that's going to manifest in your life. So keep an eye on March 20th. March 22nd and 23rd are kind of weird, good and weird all at the same time. Saturn will enter Aquarius on March 22nd, so we're going to be feeling that. But the 22nd specifically, for other reasons, this is going to be, how do I put this? This is going to be a very important time in terms of our love relationships and our love maps, and also how we relate to each other as partners in life, as team players. On the 22nd, for whatever reason, well, listen, I say whatever reason, like I'm not looking at the astrology charts, right? On the 22nd, one of the things that we can expect is a heightened sense of romance or vulnerability. And here's the important part. Telepathic communication, or that instinctive, intuitive, like flash of insight, like suddenly almost literally being able to read somebody's mind, right? Or suddenly have like this clairvoyant vision of something, or recognizing somebody from a past life. It's not so much that the veils between worlds are thin at this time, as much as we are all on this day tapping into that other part of ourself that functions on a much higher, faster vibration. So we're able to tune in and tap on spontaneously, not consciously or deliberately, but spontaneously, to that supra-consciousness, that spider web, that neural spider web that connects all of us across the globe, as spiritual entities. We're all tapped in that day. So you're going to find, especially in relationships where you have connections to people, that your psychic ability, your telepathy, whatever you want to call it, your clairvoyant vision, your flash of insight, is going to be working over freaking time. So pay attention to what you're getting, because there may be more going on than, does he love me? Is she cheating on me? We're not talking about that. I mean, this is some serious big stuff here. So pay attention, keep a notepad with you, and write stuff down, and pay heed to what you get. This is an important day. Now, with that said, so, oh, you know what a great example is? Kind of like, there was a show called Sense8, if you've ever seen it. Like, it's that kind of a weird phenomenon, right? So we're in for some interesting things with a Saturn and Aquarius shift. But this day, March 22nd, is going to be particularly important and give us a real preview of kind of the unbelievable stuff we hadn't even thought of possible, like coming into view or experience. Anyway, immediately after that, we go into March 23rd. On March 23rd, what we will then have is the opportunity to make dreams reality. So seeds will be planted between the 23rd and the 24th. Seeds are going to be planted that will absolutely have the possibility of changing your future completely. So listen to what you're getting on the 22nd and understand that the 23rd and 24th are going to be important days for planting seeds or initiating things that could change everything in your life as you know it. Good, bad, indifferent, weirdness, whatever. Like it's everything. Huge. And before I get to the new moon on the 24th, I just want to say also too, this particular thing on the 22nd, with all this stuff going on, if you know people who have chemical imbalances, either from addiction issues or from, genetics, brain chemistry issues, right? This is going to be a really, a challenging time for them. The full moon is going to be particularly challenging, as will this particular date around the 22nd, just before the new moon. So please be aware of that and be as supportive as you can. So they're undergoing a bigger stress test than the rest of us because they're wired a little differently, so they're feeling it differently than we are. So let's all try to minimize the amount of impact from these astrological aspects for the people who are most vulnerable and destabilized by these shifts. Okay, now this brings us to March 24th, which is the new moon at 4 Aries. The new moon at 4 Aries is ruled by Mars, which will conjunct Jupiter and Pluto in Capricorn. Brrr, baby, that's so sexy when you say that. This new moon is a powerful seed moon. So this is the time to take dreams and visions and ideas and put them in motion, honey. So in spite of the fact that it is a new moon, which is typically a quiet time of rest, this particular month, that new moon is going to be an active, dynamic time that's really going to help plant seeds to propel us into the future. So things that we start, initiate, do, have conversations about, we're literally planting seeds at this time. And these are dynamic seeds that are going to grow much bigger than we could have possibly imagined. If we do the Saturn thing, which is do the hard work, make the commitment, be there, be serious. Now, also remember that as we get down here, before we get to the 22nd, Saturn all month long is in these last degrees of Capricorn. So one of the other things that I just want to point out for this month is that Saturn, since 2019, we've talked about this, Saturn is the struggles, because the struggle makes you stronger and Saturn wants you to be strong. So Saturn is all about the consequences that bear out from our choices and actions. Good consequences or bad consequences. There's a consequence for every action. That's what karma is, consequences. It's not good or bad, it's just consequences. With Saturn in Capricorn, its own rulership for the last year and a half or so, we have been dealing with the very immediate consequences of our actions. And I know in some situations it seems like nobody's getting any penalties at all, but there are other forces at play that are much bigger than this, and that time is coming, and it may be coming this month. With Saturn in those last degrees of Capricorn, this is like a door closing on an opportunity. So if you needed to do the Saturn thing, get organized, make a plan, have a to-do list, make the commitment, do the work. As Saturn hits these last degrees of Capricorn, this is your last chance to get through that doorway and get your life on track, or get your agenda on track. Saturn will go into Aquarius and then back into Capricorn before the end of the year, but you don't want to waste this time, right? So Saturn in these last degrees of Capricorn is giving you the last chance to get your big behind through that door so that it doesn't hit you on the backside on the way out, or on the way through, I should say. Now, for people who've been dipping and dodging all year long, or since Saturn's been Capricorn, and evading accountability and responsibility, which is classically Saturn, and especially Saturn in Capricorn, don't think for a minute that you're getting a free pass. Saturn in Capricorn will come to collect its dues with interest. You won't like it. This is further emphasized by all these Capricorn planets and Pluto being in Capricorn. So the devil will be paid his dues, but the devil is not in any particular rush, because the devil likes to take interest with its payment. So y'all that are out here doing all sorts of stuff you shouldn't be doing, you want to think about that, and really ask yourself some important questions about what can you do to rectify the situation and hold yourself accountable, and maybe do something a little differently. Just saying. Okay. And so you're not freaking out on me. These are the best activities for this month. So here's how to make the most of what we've got going on. Here's your master list. Remember to adjust to your specific life. Think big, be ambitious, pray for miracles. Everything is possible and anything is within reach if you're willing to commit to it and ask for it. So it's not, you don't get to hold your hand out and ask for it because you feel like you're entitled to it, and you don't get to hold your hand out and demand it just because. You've got to hold your hand out because you're willing to partner with the other side and do the work to get it. If you're serious, they'll be serious too, and you will see it now. So don't short yourself and settle for small ambitions or small dreams. Think about the best possible outcome and bigger, and work towards that in your thoughts and your actions. Also, this month is a great month to start the most important cycles in your life by ending other ones. So for those of you who've needed to cut some dead weight out of your life, or have been struggling with how best to move forward, maybe get out of your own way, this is a really solid, supported time to take a leap of faith and just let go of the stuff that's holding you back. Even if you don't know where you're going or where you're going to end up, and you're not completely sure what the plan is at this point, if you know that you've got an anchor around your neck or things that are holding you back that you're hanging on to, and here's the important part, out of fear or resentment, right? Or any other negative emotion, like you're not hanging on to it because it's good for you. You're hanging on to it because there's a negative emotion attached to it. This is a good time to let go of the negative emotion and or the thing that creates these negative emotions. The moment you do that, the combination lock, the tumblers will spin into place and unlock the lock. This is the month this can happen. The other thing that's very good activity this month is having a come to Jesus moment with yourself. So those of you who don't know what that expression means, having a come to Jesus moment, it's a moment of self-honesty. Like literally those moments where the only person who knows about your evils and wrongdoings are you and God. So it's when you come to Jesus, you're coming to Jesus with all your secrets and your confessions that nobody else knows except you and God. So this is that moment, or this month is full of these come to Jesus moments where we literally have an opportunity to take a good hard look in the mirror and be really, really honest with ourselves and be very, very kind with ourselves. But the most important thing is that we have to be honest, we have to face ourselves, and we have to hold ourselves accountable for our lives and our contributions. We've got to hold ourselves accountable, and you can't do that without being honest first. So there's that. The other thing is, and this is going to sound really unexpected, be gentle with the male identified people around you. So the reason I'm saying this is because this is a pivotal time in terms of our collective evolution, right? And when I say be gentle with the male identified people in your life, I don't mean baby them like they're not infants. Let's stop that. Let's stop treating them all like giant toddlers. That's got to stop. And this also means that we're not going to not hold them accountable for their bad choices or actions, and we're not going to make excuses for them. We're also not going to beat them to death about it. We are going to be the adults that we want them to be with us. So what this means is that this month, more than any other month, the grace and kindness that we operate with when it comes to other people who are struggling to understand themselves and make sense of the world around them, that can make huge mountains of difference in the outcomes for them as well as ourselves. For male identifying individuals, this is a face yourself in the mirror time this month. And for those of you who are trying to do the work and heal, you deserve as much support as we would expect for ourselves in these moments, and you should get that. So understand, for those of you who are not male identified, for these guys, this may be even more important right now than ever because they'll be working against centuries of conditioning that created the toxic manhood we're all dealing with. So the reality is they don't really have a working model of how to navigate this. They're learning as they go along too. And right now, this month is going to be a critically important time that will allow them to be the most vulnerable they've ever been. And because of that vulnerability and that self-honesty, have the potential to rebuild themselves in the most glorious, fantastic new ways that liberate them from history and tradition that suffocates them. And that's fantastic. And we should all participate in that process with them. Remember, we are all better than our base or lowest instincts. And we are all in this together. If they heal, we heal. If we heal, they heal. This is all about healing because we can't make progress without it. And if you're not sure what to do, think about this. Kindness is often the extended hand that rescues a drowning person. Become that extended hand. because the life you save may be your own. And you are all so awesome. I would like you to like, subscribe, and share. Your support of this channel makes a huge difference in me being able to maintain this. And also, I want you to stay tuned for exciting developments in the next few months because Saturn and Capricorn, we got a plan. All right, you guys. Hope you have a fantastic March. Let's get through this as best we can and hold each other up in the process. And we'll talk to you soon. Readings are always available. You can email me at primalgirlwellness@gmail.com for information. Also, I have a phone number that you can call for phone readings, so we don't have to be face-to-face. And feedback is always appreciated and encouraged, so leave a comment in the comment box, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.